Let's get right to it. Our top story tonight, broken promises, corruption plaguing our nation's brave men and women. The backlog of veterans' disability claims growing, and the people in charge of helping our heroes are busy collecting bonuses, some even doing union work full-time on the taxpayer's dime. Joining me now with this outrageous story, Pete Hegseth, CEO of Concerned Veterans for America. And Pete, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I've looked at this story and I've looked at this story, and I don't know how it's possible that 851,000 veterans are waiting for benefits. How does this happen?
It's a national outrage. I'll tell you how it happens. It's when government gone wild. It's government bureaucracy in an unaccountable culture there at VA, where they've been making promises and talking about projections for years and never held accountable for it. This is a department whose funding has gone up 40% since 2009, yet the backlog of vets waiting for their disability claims has increased by 2,000%. The department was exempt from sequestration. There's no accountability, and there's no incentive for them to do better and treat vets like customers as opposed to numbers.
Well, Pete, let's get right down to some of the things you sent us in your email when we asked you questions about this. You say that the claims, they get lost, that they're deleted, that they sit on top of filing cabinets forever. How is this possible? So they're on paper, right, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's a 21st century, yet this bureaucracy is stuck in the 20th century. 97% of claims are still done on paper. There's literally a floor of a facility in North Carolina that is structurally unsound because so many claims are sitting on top of filing cabinets in sort of an archaic, backwards filing system, and that's why you see claims getting lost, getting deleted, sitting on top of filing cabinets. Veterans have to call repeatedly over and over and over, wait on hold for an hour just to speak to an individual who tells them their claim is lost. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable is the right word. And yet, here's what our President Obama, promised us not too long ago. Listen to this.
I'm running on a record of standing up for wounded warriors on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, an assignment I sought out when I joined the Senate. I led a bipartisan effort to improve outpatient facilities, slash red tape, and reform the disability process, because recovering troops should go to the front of the line and they shouldn't have to fight to get there.
Pete, your response.
Like so many other things, a lot of rhetoric and no results. I mean, that's why we've called for Secretary Shinseki to step down. He was an honorable service member for many years, and he's been leading the VA for 4 years. He's been talking about how they're going to fix it. Now they're saying they're going to fix the backlog in 2015, 2.5 years from now. A lot of rhetoric, a lot of projections, no results.
Believe this.
We've got to have accountability. I mean, imagine if this existed in the private sector.
I've seen a lot of corruption. I've seen a lot of wasting of money, but this really takes the cake. And here's one of the things that's really frustrating about it. We have a suicide epidemic among veterans who return to this country. Does this contribute to that feeling of helplessness, being alone?
Well, it definitely contributes to the feeling of helplessness. There was a long story in USA Today this morning about a soldier who had been in Iraq twice and come back and was not able to function because of some severe PTSD. And of course it affects his life and his projection, his feelings about the future. So when you've got vets trying to transition and then you've got a department that's supposed to serve them so inept, it's not just not serving them, but it's sending them deeper and darker into, wondering if there's hope at all. That is government absolute failure. And that's why we're going after this, trying to raise attention.
Here is the outrage. The VA executive bonuses, they paid out $2.3 million in 2012, $2.8 million in 2011. Okay, these executives getting bonuses at the very time veterans, our veterans, heroes, the people who served us in the field are going without. How can this be true?
Well, it's when there is no real accountability. These are bonuses not based on merit, but because they're merely sitting in a position. This is, again, it's what you get with government, whereas in the private sector, if you do your job well, you succeed and you're rewarded. If you don't, you get fired. No one has been fired for this. And that means all the way down the line, where's the accountability? There isn't any. And that's why we're saying the VA could learn a lot from the way the private sector does business in addressing the needs of veterans and treating them like customers that they are, the heroes they are, and getting them the benefits they've earned.
Well, and just to bring this whole thing full circle here, 188 VA workers are doing union work, being paid taxpayer funds and salaries and benefits on our dime, while these veterans are going without. Pete, thanks for coming on tonight. Great to see you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having
your
me.
time.
Thank you.
Coming up tomorrow.